Today I will be investigating a failed city, America's fallen city, that had $100 billion of total investment poured into it with nothing to show for it. At one point it was dubbed the Las Vegas of the East Coast, and I am of course talking about Atlantic City. Now, being a New Jersey native and of course living here right now, I've actually been to Atlantic City a couple of times, but this was like 5 or 6 years ago, and I recently heard word that Atlantic City is an absolute dump. So in an effort to investigate properly what's going on here, I'll be visiting for the entire day to see what ultimately we find. With that being said, we have a lot to do, so grab your popcorn and let's gamble.
We've made it to AC, which is America's failed city. As I mentioned, there was $10 to $100 billion in investment to this city at one point, and now it is a complete ghost town. So we're gonna take a look around. We're gonna figure out what these casinos look like. We wanna look at some of the malls, some of the restaurants, and just figure out how come they only have 40,000 residents in this very city that used to compete with Vegas at one point. So Atlantic City, which a lot of people don't realize, is actually the basis for the board game Monopoly. So you have Park Place, right here is Michigan Ave. Every single spot is basically named after something on the Atlantic City boardwalk, so that's kind of interesting. But nowadays, I don't think anybody cares because AC is just a complete failure of a town. But one thing that AC has that Vegas doesn't is a beach. So we're gonna go on the AC beach and see what that's like. Now, to be clear, it's not the nicest day out right now. It's about 70 degrees, a little bit windy, overcast. So I'd say, as a New Jerseyan, I would expect on a popular beach there to be 30 people. So I'm genuinely gonna be surprised if there's anything less or more than about that number. There is literally nobody on the beach besides maybe 1 or 2 people. You don't understand how rare this is. So New Jersey is the most populated state. It is insanely dense, and AC as a county has over 400,000 people. What an absurd scene here. So there is literally nobody on the beach. There's a single guy. I think he's maybe like looking for gold or he's cleaning things up. All right, what is this mega structure here? I believe, and don't quote me on this is Atlantic City's mall. So Atlantic City is right in front of Caesar's Palace, which is of course the mega casino in Atlantic City. It's their largest casino here. This is the adjacent mall. It's called the Playground Pier, and you would think this place is abandoned. Every single billboard with the exception of Simpson's Restaurant and Bar is empty. There's graffiti on the wall everywhere there. There's waves crashing up against the pier, and there's just a single person, maybe 2, just kind of like walking here. So let's try to go inside and let's see if there's even anything inside of this mall. It's basically abandoned, AC. If you look in the distance, that's where the pier is with all the rides. I don't see a single ride functioning, but more on that later because we're gonna explore that area. So right now it's about 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, and this is what the boardwalk looks like. And I'm gonna overlay what the boardwalk looked like at its peak. So here's the Caesar's Palace. This is some of the outside. They actually have a Hell's Kitchen. That's Gordon Ramsay, right? But here we have the mall. So we're gonna attempt to go inside right now and see if there's anything. So right here, I see an It's Sugar, the candy store. Nobody's in there. It's just kind of sad. I'm not gonna really like go inside of there. Look at this Caesar's, man. Nobody is at this Caesar's. Let's say you wanted to buy a custard pie. You can't because it's closed. And I'm sure that's gonna be a theme for today. Everything's probably gonna be shut down in this failed city. Just think, at one point, they've had $2 billion buildings being propped up. They had casino money going in and out. Nowadays, they barely have a functioning mall. Okay, I think this is the entrance. Bro, no way this is the mall in the casino town of the East. Bro, what is this? This could have easily been. All right, guys, not gonna lie, there is literally nothing in this mall. Every single thing is closed down. As you can see around me, this maybe used to be a bar area. I think it may be connected to the Caesars Casino. We walked the entirety of this Playground Pier. As you can see, there was nothing inside of it at all. We were talking to some of the security guards and they were telling us that nobody really comes here as a tourism spot. They were kind of confused we even had a camera. We thought it was pretty normal to have a camera in a heavy tourism spot like Atlantic City, which again is the Vegas of the East Coast. However, not a soul is in here. We literally saw 0 people that were non-workers or security. So this is the end of the mall. There's actually like black curtains that are blocking people from going in over there. So I guess we're just gonna exit because there are stores that are open. They don't necessarily look boarded up, but at one point, this mall must have been like bustling with activity because they are up and they look like a lot of restaurants and stores, but literally nothing. So let's get out of here. Okay, I think we're in the back rooms of AC Mall. Exit. All right, let's get out of here. So if you look all out to the beach, even for like half a mile span, you can't see anybody here. Right now we're walking outside of that Playground Pier, which is their largest mall, and there's just no activity. Every door is locked too. You can't go in anywhere. It's like you're kind of stuck here actually. But we're gonna try our best to get out of here and then move on to another spot. So far though, this is really disappointing. So this is what the common lounge area outside of the mall looks like. There's benches and everything, but there's no people here. Again, it's not the nicest day out, but nonetheless, like in a town like this, you would expect there to be some people out, but just nobody's here. I still have no idea how to leave this place either. If you watched the last video where we visited abandoned towns, no joke, at least on like a per capita basis and like the size of AC, this is the most deserted ghost town I've ever seen in my life. And every single thing is abandoned, and we're just getting started because there's some crazy things that you wouldn't expect to be closed that are closed. A lot of them are along the boardwalk. I mean, just look, there's one single person right there. Outside of him, it is a stretch of nothingness. Half of those buildings are vacant. There's like demolition going on. This building's about to be torn down, and we can't even get out of the mall. It looks like we're trespassing. We're just literally trying to leave, and there's no way to get out of here. So right next to the Caesars Palace Casino, you have this abandoned casino. So this is the outside of it. All the way up, there's nobody in this anymore. Nobody lives here. Nobody can gamble here. There's nothing happening here. But perhaps even crazier than this, because this is literally in the heart of AC. Right next to it, as you can see, is an abandoned lot, an oceanfront abandoned lot. And this actually, a few years ago, had the Trump Plaza Casino, which was a mega investment into AC at a certain point. And now, as you can see, there is nothing here. I think this was demoed sometime in 2021, 2022, just because it wasn't profitable like the rest of the casinos in AC. Plus, I don't think the association with Trump helped at all. This is the remnants of it. It's right next to the police station as well. And then a Rainforest Cafe and a closed down Nathan's. So this is a really sad area. And this is like their Times Square. Like this used to be bustling. So this used to be a bunch of different stores, obviously boarded up now, nothing's here. And then here you had Nathan's Famous and Arthur Treacher's, kind of like a combination fast food restaurant, and now nothing. You can still actually see inside of it though. So I think it was probably closed within the last 5 years if I had to guess. And when you have a vacancy in AC, nobody's taking it. Not because the rents are too expensive, just because you're probably not gonna turn a profit because nobody's here. I'm not sure if we're picking up on it right now, but it is raining a little bit and it's kind of cold and it's September right now, so you wouldn't expect that. But it just made me think, I'm sure another reason why AC ultimately failed is that it's trying to compete with Vegas on the East Coast, but it doesn't have the Vegas weather. You very much get the 4 seasons here in the Northeast, so you really only can go to AC comfortably walking outside, interacting with the boardwalk and stuff for about 4 months out of the entire year, which means kind of like a Chick-fil-A closed on a Sunday, you're only operating on a few months. So that's probably a reason as well. I don't know who's coming here in like January. Pretty sad, honestly, if you're gambling in January. So right now we're walking on the main street, which is basically the Vegas Strip of Atlantic City. If you've ever seen the Vegas Strip, so if you've been there, if you've seen pictures of it, you'll know that it's super populated. Everybody walking down it, all the casinos are on it. Anything you could think of, restaurants, stores are all on it. But over here, nobody. Okay, so we're gonna actually enter this place, Wild Wild West Casino. Now, obviously we're unable to film in a casino. That's one of the big no-nos. So we're gonna use the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Hopefully we could capture at least a little bit. Let's go ahead and check this out. So we walked under the arch of the Wild Wild West Casino, and we were met with these doors that just say exit only on them, and they're owned now by Caesars. So I think this Wild Wild West Casino is shut down. I don't know why they still have everything up, and now it's owned by Caesars. It's like an exit, like an emergency exit area. We saw a couple people approaching and they wanted to get into the casino as well, but unfortunately they can't because this place no longer exists apparently. Let's go back on the boardwalk and figure out what else is dead, because I've actually been hard pressed to find anything open. There's no door that opens in Atlantic City apparently. Something weird about AC is that the squirrels are domesticated, so you actually have squirrels that will go up to you. Like here's a squirrel right here. I'm gonna try to get it up to me. Squirrel, look. Like usually, this is a squirrel, usually they scurry away, but here in AC, I guess like on the boardwalk, people feed them food and stuff. That's how you know a place is totally abandoned, when you have the squirrels that typically run away from anything or just coming up to people. Because they're like, please, we need food, like nothing's open, there's no scraps out here. And I guess one of the benefits of there not being a lot of stores and restaurants open is that there's literally no litter or garbage on the ground. It's actually quite clean in AC, despite it being a failing, dying city. So here we have Park Place, which of course is the most expensive property in all of Monopoly, based off of the Park Place right here. Outside of the Monopoly properties that have clear names on the boardwalks, a lot of the places and neighborhoods around Atlantic City are named after cities and states. So they're very domestic in the way that they name. They do love the United States, which is cool. So we finally reach a stretch where there's a lot of stores open. A lot of them are tourism spots where it's like, I love Atlantic City. You'll see like your occasional Philly cheesesteak spot and pizza joint open, smoke shops as well. So we are actually in like the actual prime of the Atlantic City boardwalk now. So we're a little bit past some of the casinos. So I guess the stuff that is still open in Atlantic City isn't really like the heavy monetizable tourism stuff like gambling, but instead some of the classic boardwalk stuff. But with that said, for everything that's open, there's definitely something that's closed. So I'd say about 50% vacancy on some of these stores, like Low Presti's Pizza and Grill. Doesn't look like that's been open in a couple of years. And the ice cream shop next door. But then there is, as you can see, the largest souvenir shop, which is Peanut World, is still open. So it's really hit or miss just depending on where you are on this boardwalk. So if you ever wonder how lottery winners go broke, like, oh, you won $1 billion, billion. How'd you go broke? Just look at Atlantic City, which has anywhere from 10 to 20 billion dollars invested into it, and this is the state of things. So it's very easy apparently to spend money, especially when you're just putting on big buildings with casinos that nobody's gambling in. So you gotta get like a Starbucks here, Chipotle, get some of these like blue chip fast food restaurants. Not even a McDonald's anywhere. I just like stepped on a pillar too that's probably gonna break soon. There's a lot of sinkholes around New Jersey, but I didn't think you'd get them on the boardwalk. Behind me, you'll see an abandoned building that's literally falling apart. It's just cracked, the globe falling out. Well, that used to be a Ripley's Believe It or Not, which is like this really cool science-y, like, whoa, you can't believe these facts type of exhibit in which you go in, kind of like a museum, walk through it and stuff. But nowadays it's for sale as a commercial property. And I think it's just ironic that it's dilapidated and falling apart. And that's quite literally what happened to it. It's actually a really cool building outside, and it really plays into the theme of that entire thing. I like how they call their bathrooms comfort stations as well. Oh, here we have New York Ave. So right next to the pier, or right across it, I should say, there's Resorts Casino, and then you have the Hard Rock behind it. So we're getting to Casino Land again. So this is something interesting on the AC Boardwalk. We have a Guy Fieri pop-up shop called Chicken Guy. I don't know if there's more than one of these. Guy Fieri does have his own themed restaurant right now called Flavor Town that's in airports and certain tourist areas. This one just seems to serve chicken salads, anything like chicken adjacent. I don't know what made Guy Fieri such like a authority on chicken, but here he is, the dives, diners, and drives guy. Just all of a sudden, just a connoisseur of all types of food. We're now approaching the most famous pier in Atlantic City called Steel Pier. This is where you're gonna see all of the different rides, boardwalk games, things like that. From afar, I don't see anything operating, so I don't know, maybe because it's a little bit rainy, if they shut down all the rides. Let's see what things look like there. Let's see if there's any people there. Let's see if everything is even open, because it's not looking too good right now. I mean, even just outside of it, you can't even get yourself a funnel cake or fried Oreo, which is a staple of a New Jersey boardwalk. Still disappointing to see, but let's actually head inside to see if there's anything there. So it looks like Steel Pier is unfortunately closed. We walked up to it and we just have a barricade here. It looks like this is where you would have some of the stands. I'm not even convinced though that they would be open just because of the state of AC as a whole. It even says on Google Maps that this place is open and that it did open at 1 p.m. and it is now past 1 p.m. So I don't know if it's because of the rain or what, but for whatever reason, you can't get on any of the rides or play any games inside of here. So if you were trusting Google Maps and you thought you could have a fun time at Steel Pier, you can. Even some of these claw machines outside of Steel Pier are very sad. You do have some like Labubu keychains, but then this one is just completely empty with the exception of like 4 AirPods. And then you have, I'm sure, Pokemon plush toys that have been there for like 20 years. Okay guys, so behind me, I actually found the only boardwalk game that seems to be open. It's a basketball game. It says 1 in and you win. Looks pretty straightforward, so I'm actually gonna attempt to win this. This is our only shot because nothing else is open. Hey, how are you?
Guys wanna play? Come on in.
Yeah, can I get 5 shots?
Hey, $10.
$10. So 10 bucks for 5 shots, $2 a shot. And if I get 1 in, I get a small. Ooh, okay. 0 for 1. All right, that's a prize right there. Right now I have a small. This is for a medium. All right, here we go. Hey, thank you so much, sir.
Anything in here, medium.
Oh, this is medium?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Patrick Star right here.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good day. I was expecting a medium to be much bigger than that. 2 out of 5 shots, you would think that I'd get something better, especially those bouncy rims and those overinflated balls, complete scam. But nonetheless, I did win a prize. What? How is this a medium? What is a small prize? If this is a medium prize, this dirty rainbow Patrick bootleg from China, what is a small? So I paid 10 bucks for this basically. That was maybe the biggest scam of all time right there. So Guy Fieri apparently has a residency in Atlantic City because not only does he have Chicken Guy, which is the fried chicken joint that I guess he's apparently all bought into, but also Guy's barbecue joint, in addition to probably a Flavor Town that we're gonna run into. So I think Guy Fieri is really married to AC for some reason and maybe has 3 or 4 restaurants. I didn't know he had chicken, I didn't know he had barbecue, but I guess the man could do it all. What, like, I don't understand this picture too. It's just a blank canvas next to him. There's no context to what's happening.
Is that his life-size image?
He must be pretty tall. So at this point, you've seen that the boardwalk, everything is closed down. There's not a lot of people here. Even Steel Pier, their largest pier, is closed. We saw the mall is completely closed. They barely allow anybody in there. And then even the beach, nobody on it. Quite literally for a stretch of half a mile, you don't see a single person outside of the occasional worker. So that's the AC boardwalk-ish side of things. Now we're gonna investigate some of the casinos and also grab lunch because apparently on our way in, we saw multiple billboards that told us they have the #1 Hooters in the world. Since there's not a lot of Hooters left in the world, I figured we'd go there to actually check it out and see if it's #1. fun. All right, so we have now arrived to the best Hooters in the world. So let's take a seat, order some wings to see if it's truly the best. All right, so we're just gonna get a 8 count of wings because we are connoisseurs now of Hooters. This is our 3rd different Hooters that we've been to over the past couple of months for 2 other videos. So let's see how these wings stack up, if it truly is the best in the world on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. Everything else so far has been a little bit of a disappointment, actually a lot of a disappointment. But maybe this Hooters can be the saving grace of Atlantic City that brings all the tourism back to this godforsaken spot. Order has been placed, 10 boneless wings, Hooters style. Let's await them and let's see if this could save AC. Wings have finally arrived. They look very good, very tasty, very warm. Let's see if they are the best, as the billboard coming in says. I would say yes, they've been pretty consistent. We've gotten this every single time we've been to Hooters, so I'm expecting good things. These actually do look the hottest, the freshest out of everything so far. I believe these are the only wings that actually have steam coming out of them, which shows that they're hot, they're fresh, they're looking good. So I have really high hopes for this. So let's dive in and see how good these are. Here we go. I don't remember how the other ones tasted, but it's very good. One thing about Hooters, they're very consistent with their wings across the board, and they're very crispy. It's like a fried chicken wing versus just like a normal piece of chicken buffalo wing. So you get that extra crisp, kind of like you're having like a chicken nugget or a chicken tender, and then they fry it, put it on a bone. I don't know exactly what they do, but they have very good wings. Is it the best? I'll let you know in a few minutes. Just finished up at Hooters. I would go ahead and say that it was like probably the best Hooters I've ever had. I don't have a ton of data. I've been to 3, as I mentioned, but I do think they were the best, crispiest wings. So I do think Atlantic City was being truthful about it being the absolute best Hooters in the world. A negative though, as soon as I was leaving, there's actually a Starbucks in that marketplace. So I went ahead and got an iced tea. Guess how much this was? Take a guess. $7.20 for iced tea. The most expensive iced tea I've ever had in my entire life. This is like Yankee Stadium pricing for a beer. I can't believe it. And it just tastes like normal iced tea. And there's a lot of ice in it too. So probably 3 sips and I paid $7. So not a lot of value to be had in Atlantic City, but I mean, I guess this to be expected. I got ripped off playing that basketball game. I got ripped off getting my drink at Starbucks. I'm sure there's still a little bit more to come. But yeah, man, AC, what a place. Let's get off the boardwalk now and go to some other spots though. So we left the boardwalk and now we're at Bader Field. This is where the old Atlantic City Municipal Airport was. So it was the first international airport ever. Actually, the word airport derived at the Badersfield Airport here in Atlantic City. Now 15 minutes up the road, there's an actual built out international airport that's much bigger. So now this place is completely abandoned. So if you look here, there's a couple of runways that still exist, but otherwise this place is just overgrown fields. And I guess there's tents here. I don't know if they throw some sort of parties or what, but there's a little fun tent happening with some seating. I think it also turned into a little bit of a fire station as well, some sort of emergency response area. But it's actually quite cool because those are the city limits. That's where you could see the casino and stuff. But then right over here, right on the outskirts, you have an abandoned airport, which I've never seen before. I didn't know that abandoned airports were still a thing. You'd think that they'd like scrap and reuse the land for something, but no, you still have the runways, you still have everything just out in plain sight. And that's just the story of AC. I feel like that's a microcosm for everything that AC kind of is. We may have just found the fun because this is Atlantic City's aquarium, though I will note online it did say that the 2nd floor is closed and there's just a few exhibits. So I am still holding my breath a little bit, but it looks like a lot of fun. The inside does look quite small. It looks like a 2-story normal colonial style house. So I actually do think the reviews are going to be true, that there's not much in there, but how bad can it be? I'm sure there's like at least, I don't know, like a dozen or so fish that you could see in here. I'm excited to go inside. Maybe this will be the breath that gives Atlantic City that next wave of financial tourism coming in. Let's check it out. This is the exhibit. It's honestly a little bit small, but for this to be like the major aquarium in a tourist city is honestly a little bit disappointing. Let's look at these little guys. Horseshoe crabs. I mean, they are actually pretty cool to see. Oh, turtles. Wow, he's a big fella. Okay, second exhibit here. I don't know what these fish are. There's Nemo. There's an anemone that they live in. That was the worst aquarium I've ever been in. There was a single lobster in a tank. Shrimp were on display. Mini shrimp. There was an entire thing dedicated to it. And then there was just like a normal aquarium that you'd see in the Petco. And the 2nd floor, as they noted, was completely vacant. This was the worst aquarium I've ever seen. I did not think AC could get any worse than its boardwalk, and I was wrong yet again. I mean, this is literally what it looked like. Take a look at the inside. The only cool thing was the horseshoe crabs, because those things you don't really see a lot. So I guess that's the one redeeming quality about this. And they didn't charge me full price. It was nice to give me a discount because the 2nd floor wasn't fully intact, but that was terrible. So I want to leave this place immediately and just go somewhere else. So let's do that. So far, Atlantic City, I mean, obviously a failed city, but 2 out of 10. Like, I would never return here unless there was like a huge reason for me to come back. Another reason why Atlantic City is a failed city is because it's also one of the most dangerous cities, not only in just New Jersey, but in the entire United States. You're 3 times more likely to be victimized of a violent violent crime living in Atlantic City, both on the boardwalks as you just saw, and then just in the suburban neighborhoods as well, which we're about to travel through. We're just gonna be doing a little drive-by so you can kind of see. Also, 34% of people that live in this very neighborhood are under the poverty line, which is well above the national average. It's the second most dangerous city in New Jersey, only to Camden, but in South Jersey, this one takes the cake. So the area that we're driving through is part of a subsidized housing project that the local government had put in place. There's a lot of abandoned areas. It looks like project housing, some fairly like typical housing that you would see in a lot of New Jersey cities. We're not quite at the area that has the increased poverty yet. I mean, right now the neighborhood doesn't look too bad. There's definitely less and less as you drive further. So here's the housing. So broken windows everywhere, boarded up. I don't know if anybody actually lives in here, but this is what you're gonna see. Yeah, literally every single door is boarded up. I don't know if this is because it's like failed infrastructure projects or if it's just like that's how people are living in here. But every single house along this street in this neighborhood is just boarded up. Broken windows everywhere. Yeah, I mean, let's just say I wouldn't want to live here. So we're still in Atlantic City, but this time a little bit on the outskirts, and they have something really cool here. It's an abandoned racetrack that was once a huge hub for obviously a bunch of horses to race. Lots of money was wagered here, but nowadays it's completely abandoned. It's one of the only abandoned horse tracks in the Northeast, specifically in New Jersey. I think it's the only one. It looks like it's somewhat accessible. We're gonna try to see if we can get into it because I think that this is a true gem of AC. It's a really big structure. I don't know how close we can get. Worst case, we'll get up to the fence, but I'll show you some footage of what it looks like if we're unable to get in. And by the way, if you're wondering where this horse track is, look no further than Hamilton Mall, which if you recall, when I explored abandoned malls, this was the one in Atlantic City. It's completely abandoned. I figured I'm not gonna rehash it by going through again, but you can check out that video if you wanna see what this mall looks like, because it is deserted, it is very dead. And we know that because it's across from a dead horse track as well. So let's see if we can go inside. We're gonna try to hop some fences here. All right guys, so I found an entrance right here. So it looks like we are able to go inside. Somebody carved a really nice hole here. So we're gonna see how far we can get. It's actually pretty cool that somebody carved out a little thing. So I think it's a popular urban exploration spot. So let's go ahead and get in here. All right guys, we already hear some noises coming out of here. So I think people live in here for sure. It's wide open, so there might be a lot of squatters, but we are able to get pretty close to it, basically just at it. There's a lot of broken windows as well. So it could be more people exploring. Not really sure what they're up to, but let's take a little bit of a look. There's definitely people in there. It might be squatters, and in the AC area of all places, I don't think it's the best spot to be playing around with abandoned spots. So I mean, this is it. You can sort of see where people would sit up there. Tracks are gonna be on the other side, even though they're all gone now. Up there is like some radio tower, I guess for signaling to broadcast the races. There's actually a lot of satellite dishes that are now overgrown here right outside of the racetrack. And of course, this entire lot is just overgrown with moss and weeds everywhere. So this whole building, pretty cool area. If this was an exploration video, then maybe we'd go in with some protection. But right now we're looking at the failure of AC, and this racetrack is a story to be told. All
right, guys, well, that's Atlantic City in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you'd ever visit this place. Honestly, I probably never would again unless I was forced to. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content, be sure to click here, click here. Otherwise, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.